After driving 3,000 miles to photograph icebergs in Newfoundland and then venturing over to Labrador, we found ourselves in a new area on the peninsula of LaScie. I'm a landscape photographer who lives full-time in my Ford or Ross, which gives me the freedom to explore basically anywhere at the cost of luxuries such as heat, showers, or a place to sit up and work. This lack of amenities combined with the cold May weather here in Newfoundland has pushed me to my limit. A few days ago, I almost broke down and left it all behind.
I am struggling.
But thankfully, I persevered and I get greatly rewarded in more ways than one. This is episode 4. Almost when you least expect it, things fall into place. You realize that what left was making space for what was about to arrive. The quiet let you hear the guidance. The unhappiness forced you to make a move. The unsettledness made you keep seeking. The end ushered in a new beginning. The doors that closed turned you toward the ones that were going to open. The lessons were always leading you, and every time you got it wrong, you were one step closer to having it right.
Welcome back, everyone. It is a new day. Everything seems better. Sometimes just a little bit of sunshine, which we're getting right now, is all you really need to just make everything just wash away. I've been sitting on the coast here. It's been foggy, a bit overcast, and I've just been sitting here waiting. And now the fog has cleared a bit, and we are back in Newfoundland. I didn't actually go anywhere, but I can see the island, I can see the rock. And my goodness, what a great reminder of why I'm here. Yesterday I was like, maybe I should just leave. Maybe I should just drive somewhere else. What am I doing here? Why am I here? This sucks. And today, this is why I'm here. What a beautiful day. Let's see if we can take some photos. All right, well, this isn't the ideal midday light that I would want, but I'm just glad there's light in general. And honestly, I just wanted an excuse to just walk around in the sun, take my camera out, and shoot some photos. Now, I did find a really nice composition right here. There's this line of rocks down here that's kind of using the bottom of my frame, but it's nice because it creates this almost oval shape on the bottom of my frame, and then another leading line of this water right here into the bay, going to this nice rock formation all the way out to some fog back here. I'm just shooting pretty wide, almost probably 16, 17 mil on here, and it's an absolutely gorgeous comp. However, you can tell the light is just reflecting off of these rocks quite a bit because of that, direct sun that I'm getting right now. But in contrast to that, I'm also getting some absolutely gorgeous light into the water there you can see right into because of that light. And overall, it's just a really nice scene. I don't necessarily know if the light is worthy of, a portfolio-worthy image or anything, but you know what? I don't really care. I'm just glad to stand out here with my camera in the sun. It's not super windy. I'm warm enough to have this very light jacket on and just soak up some vitamin D and just enjoy being out here. It's an absolutely gorgeous afternoon that turned into basically something from nothing, that I'm just happy that it happened. I almost left this area, and I drove up here on a whim, and I'm being paid off. I'm being reminded of why I'm here, and to just be patient, and that it's okay. Not every day is gonna be great. So here's one of the images that I liked enough to show you. Hope you enjoy. Hope it turns out.
If you remember about a week ago when we were on our way to Labrador, I described the struggle of never feeling satisfied, and I said this: if you realize this cycle never ends, as soon as we catch that carrot ahead of us, We already want another carrot. So why even try? What's the point if we just never feel content no matter what? I've been thinking about this a lot, especially with all my disconnected alone time here in Newfoundland. I propose the question, what's the point? If we know within ourselves that once we accomplish a goal, that we're already thinking about what's next, why even try? The answer is gratitude. Stopping our minds from getting so carried away with what's next and realizing just how important today is. Knowing that the goals we've successfully crossed are not just in the past. They are part of where we are now. Who we are as individuals is made up of all the sum of these milestones. And if we let ourselves get so caught up with the next goal, we really lose sight of everything we've done or the hills that we've already climbed. This is a terrible cycle to put ourselves into because it not only diminishes the strength it took to accomplish such things, it also leaves very little room to enjoy the fruits of our labor. To find creative balance in my photography and in my life in general, I have to slow down and stop thinking about tomorrow and just focus on how lucky I am to be here today. The more you can do this, the more positive days you'll find yourself experiencing.
Stories turn to songs and laughter to tears. These things aren't a given, they're a gift to behold. Like the first leaves of autumn, our breath in the cold.
I'm reminded of a story from the first time I left America. You might be surprised hearing that happened not too long ago, in 2017, which feels like both yesterday and forever ago all at once. I got the privilege to visit Indonesia, specifically the large island of Sumba located south of Komodo National Park. I was going for video work, thus went in quite blindly without knowing anything about the location. It wasn't until landing on Sumba Island that I realized how different this was going to be than any of the previous experiences of my entire life. The first indication was the airport, or maybe better described as just an airstrip. There's no security or baggage claim. You grab your checked luggage and you are on your way. Over the next several days, I learned how bad the malaria was on the island. The majority of the 700,000 people on the island don't have running water or electricity. No, seriously, there's no source of power on the entire island. These people basically have no amenities, nothing. Yet they all seemed so infectiously happy. I'll never forget the first ride through the island after landing. It was monsoon season and the rain was heavy. We passed an area where the road was flooding and needed to come to a crawl with water rushing from one side to the other. On the right side of the road was a family standing in the rain next to their traditional Sudanese house that looked something like this. Basically just a raised platform of bamboo and straw roofing. Their entire area, home included, just had water rushing through it. And they were just standing there waving at me, smiling from ear to ear while their home was flooded by water. The kids played in the rain and carried on as if there wasn't a worry in the world. They were glowing with happiness. I continued to meet people that just felt genuinely happy, living with essentially nothing but love and gratitude. The shocking realization that the happiest people I may have ever met are also the ones without anything, that are very disconnected from the rest of the world and spend every day just doing what they can to make it to the next. Yet here I am complaining about not getting enough damn iceberg photos. Even as I write this, it puts everything back into perspective. We all get caught up in what's next, the grind, the goals, and finding the next mountain to climb. Having goals is a privilege. It means we've reached an established level of satisfaction with where we currently are so that we can work towards what's ahead. Yet the more we grind, the more we let all that satisfaction and happiness fade away. We stop seeing what we have and we only see what we want. It's time to slow down, remind ourselves that what we have today is pretty freaking great. I mean, how lucky am I to sit on the coast here sharing my story with all of you? How lucky are we to be able to carry out this connection from around the world? We have so much, and it's okay to forget that sometimes, as long as we continually remember how lucky we are to have anything at all. I feel immense gratitude that I get to share a little bit of me with you. So as I always say, thanks for being here. A few days later, I found myself in another spot I had never been, attempting to find the last iceberg I would see in Newfoundland, even if I didn't know it yet. A great learning experience from this trip was how useful public communities online were in tracking iceberg sightings throughout the island. I only found this specific berg because of such a group. It wasn't as large as the ones we had experienced up north, but I still couldn't pass up trying to make something work. One unique aspect of this location is that there's a ferry to take vehicles from the mainland to the Long Island here, roughly about a 5-minute boat ride. While short, it allowed me to capture some pretty unique footage considering most of these ferries are never close enough to capture, especially with an iceberg in the background.
Try and hold on to your hands in the garden, the smile of a child, swimming in the river, walking the last sweet mile, first crack of thunder, the heavenly rain, all that gets taken.
It was time to move on and head to one of my favorite spots on the entire island, Twillingate. Look what happened while we were on the way there. And if you have any guesses for what audiobook I'm listening to right here, let me know down in the comments below.
Winged terror should pass and spy them with its cruel eyes.
All right, after a couple more days of rain and overcast, I have moved spots to one of my favorite spots here on the rock in Twillingate, and it just so happens that the sun is out. So, I've got the backpack on, and we're gonna go on a hike. I don't even know if I'm gonna take my camera out. There's an osprey nest over here where I got a really great photo of some ospreys last time I was here. But realistically, I just wanna be out walking around and enjoying some of the sunshine, although it is now gone behind some clouds, ironically, but this is way more than I have been getting. So I'm just gonna go soak up some sun and enjoy the scenes, and I'll take you along with me, regardless of what happens.
As I get closer to the coastline, you can easily realize by what you see on your screen why I might enjoy this place so much.
All right, so last year I had the pleasure of standing right here and photographing this osprey nest as the mom brought in food to what I want to say is a teenager, a younger osprey that still had a lot of its little specks on its wings, but wasn't old enough to hunt yet by itself, even though it looked old enough to at least, well, I watched it fly around. But what was really cool, I just sat here all afternoon on a day like this. The light was very similar to this, and I just waited for that mom to come back. And on the second visit back, after I realized they were bringing food and I was ready, I got this fantastic shot of an osprey just holding the full-on fish with blood and everything right here above this nest. Really cool spot.
This photo is actually one of the photos in my 2025 calendar, along with 11 other beautiful images I've not only had the pleasure to take, but also sharing the experience with you from the past year. You can easily relive those moments using the QR codes that come with each image that links to the video where those images were taken. These also make a great gift to friends or family that might not be a photographer or viewers of this channel, as they can see just what it took to get the image for that month. Help support this channel and grab one with the link in the description. You can even get 10% off if you sign up for my newsletter.
And it's nice to be back and see that the osprey is still sitting right there. I don't know which one it is, but one of them is sitting right there. After all of the rain, fog, and mist, it's nice to be back here in the sun, a nice welcome back. And I'm probably gonna be here for at least a week because there's just so much to photograph, and pretty much have given up on the icebergs. There's not really any in this area down here, and that if I wanted to get any good iceberg photos, I'd have to drive all the way back to the northern peninsula where we started this journey. And I kind of just forewent that and hoped that some would come down here, but none have yet. Maybe one or two will. Who knows what the future holds, but for now, I'm here because it's time to start taking photos of other things, finding other stuff, shooting some sunrises and sunsets, hopefully, as long as the weather continues to be, hopefully, a lot like this. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm just gonna soak it in for now. What a beautiful, beautiful place. This right here, as you can see on your screen, this is why I love Newfoundland, because it has places like this that are just, like I've never seen in my life. Beautiful.
Try and hold on to city lights, sunrise, long drives, late nights, shady grove, the love we know. Isn't that what matters most?
right, so there's this nice shot down here that even in midday light could look cool with an ND filter. So I'm gonna try to set that up real quick. No tripod for now. And see if we can find this composition. Oh yeah, that's nice. All right, we need about 5 seconds. 3-stop ND. Yep, that'll do. Okay, that spot has a very nice composition, but I got a little overzealous in the sense that the light is still way too harsh right now. And even with a long exposure, the reflections and stuff on the rocks and just all the light in general is just a tad too harsh. But sunrise is somewhere in that direction, although I probably need to check it since I'm here much earlier than I was last year. So I'm gonna check that, and I actually think that this could be a spectacular sunrise spot with either this composition where I was back here with that leading line going of the beach this way, or on the opposite end, over here with the leading line going back towards me right here. But I always like to get my camera out and check those things, see what comes out when I actually take the images. So even though the light was too harsh for anything presentable, it's still good to test those things, check them out, scout these locations. Because funny enough, I think I only came down here once last time and didn't spend a whole lot of time down here because I got very distracted by all the stuff that's up there. So I'm glad I came down here, tried it again, see what I could find. And honestly, I just love sitting here, listening to these waves, listening to the sound of those pebbles, have the water recede over them, and just be out here in the sun.
I can't describe how good it feels to be back in this place. I spent a lot of my last trip here because of how beautiful yet accessible much of this area is. My favorite coffee shop on the island is here, and even though relatively speaking it hasn't taken up much time in my life, I've made memories here. Right here is where Sophia and I went on our first adventure. Over here is where I stood to watch the best sunrise I'd ever gotten in Newfoundland. And of course, right here is that osprey nest. This spot definitely holds a special place in my heart.
These things aren't a given, they're the heartbeats of time. The songbird and the willow, and the wind in the pines.
Okay, the sun is quite bright, but we are heading to the other side of the cove because that area is not great for sunset. As you can imagine, as the sun sets, all the light in those covey areas that I was just in, covey, I just made that up, lose all the light. So there's no light on any parts of the foreground. So we're gonna go to the other side. I've slept here quite a bit on this side, and it's where the lighthouse is. Not that any of this is relevant to people that have no idea where I am, but you'll see. It's gorgeous, could be a nice sunset. Gonna soak up some more sun and just enjoy the views.
Try and hold on to gratitude. Sometimes all you need is gratitude. Just trying to hold on to
Travel notes, June 5th, 2024. We think that by protecting ourselves from suffering, we're being kind to ourselves. The truth is, we only become more fearful, more hardened, and more alienated. We experience ourselves as being separate from the whole. This protection mechanism is so strong, we're not even aware of it. We're just trying to make life smooth and secure, trying to build a shelter for ourselves from the fear we feel in our hearts. We can slow down and stop rushing around so much. We can just rest our minds right here, in the immediacy of our experience, without trying to alter anything. By staying with that pain and not taking it personally, we can see that nothing in the world is solid or permanent. Everything is in a process of changing. When we can rest with this change, with this impermanence, we find that the very ground of our being is open and spacious. Instead of scrambling to protect ourselves, we can appreciate the richness of every moment. The trick is to let go and simply be present with the vulnerability of the human experience. This is how we cultivate loving kindness, both for ourselves and for others.
All right, let's see if we can get past this.
It feels like forever since I had a proper sunset, and I wasn't going to miss this one. I scurried up the hill and returned to a spot that I knew from my last time here, but things didn't quite go according to plan. You might notice in these clips that there's a lack of light in my scene. Yeah, about that.
All right, I'm kicking myself a little bit because I was criminally unprepared to actually take any photos this evening. I have been here many times. I've slept right there a lot. And I guess because I haven't really gotten a sunset or a sunrise, I parked and I just hung out and I was like, oh yeah, the sun's so nice. Okay, let's walk up there and start getting ready to take the shot. And then the footage you saw, I had a great shot of me walking in front of the sun and the sun was gone. And I was like, all right, I guess I missed it. I didn't even really set up a shot. So then I flew the drone a little bit to get some of this absolutely gorgeous light here on these clouds. And I was waiting because I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait for this to take the shot that I want on my camera. And I landed the drone and the shot that I remember setting up last time isn't really there anymore. It's kind of washed away. So I'm frantically looking for a shot, and then by the time I even set my camera down to take something, the composition isn't great. The light is just spectacular. This is some of the best light I have seen here in Twillingate for sunset. So yeah, a little bit, I'm gonna be a little harsh on myself, but at the same time, absolutely gorgeous evening. It has been beautiful. I'm really happy to be here. This is what it's all about. And I'm hoping that this is not the only sunset I get for the next week here, and that I get to redeem myself and be a little bit more prepared for conditions like these that are just gorgeous. This is exactly what you're looking for. I just wasn't in the right place set up with a shot that I particularly felt was good. Now, I'm still gonna show you the shot that I took because that's what I do. I think it'll probably still be decent. There's this nice bracken on the bottom with kind of this white, almost moldy moss on the right-hand side. That was cool. And I was trying to get some of the light that was reflecting on the hillside, but I had to be far enough out, and it was a difficult shot to set up, and sadly I just didn't take the time to scout and find that exact spot that I needed to when the right light was right. But anyways, here's the shot. Stay tuned for tomorrow morning or whatever we get up to in the next couple days. It's probably gonna rain all day tomorrow, so it means a coffee shop. But I'm just so excited. I don't really care if I got a shot or not this evening. I'm just glad to be out here trying to take photos, trying to make something happen, and being able to be outside. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, thanks for being here. Here's the image.
Laid it down, know it'll pass though, like only a moment ago. Met you up in the clouds, you were waiting up for the night to hide your heart in the dark. I'll find it waiting in the shadows. Light up the highway, signal your time. When you're somewhere down the line, there I could follow you into the night. And you chased down the cold sun. Story goes red like a fable, wishing that it could be true. Wanted to, but I wasn't able to tell you the truth that I knew. Light up the highway, signal your time.
All right, good morning, everyone. Time to head in the office. We got to get down this hill first. So let's do that. All right, after my afternoon of laptop time, business work, and all that good stuff, editing, it's time to get some dinner and probably then continue to work on the laptop because, as you can tell, the conditions pretty rainy and overcast, although there is a break in the clouds as I say that over there. So let's get some dinner and then we'll check out conditions and see what happens. Good morning, everyone. As you can probably guess, yesterday was nothing ended up happening after I got dinner. Basically, the fog just came in thicker and hazier. It was just a nice light mist, which didn't result in any photography. This morning, however, there is a lot of haze and fog off in the distance. Well, basically where I'm standing. And the light is kind of shining through. So, I wonder if I stick around here, if it clears off enough that we can actually get some good photography conditions. Not too sure, but I'll stick around for a little bit and see what happens. Also, apologies. I try not to talk to the camera right after I've woken up, because I'm not the most articulate. But I wanted to say good morning. Thanks for being here. All right, after a day of work in the office, aka the coffee shop, this is sunlight. The sun has come out, the fog has cleared, and it looks like we might actually get something for sunset. I just have to make a decision on where I want to go and try to shoot sunset. Right now, I'm kind of just driving and soaking in the sun, enjoying this absolutely gorgeous evening here in Twillingate. Let's see what we can find, what we can come up with. Maybe we'll try somewhere new. Well, if that's not picturesque, just taking a simple scene here of the town during some of this nice light that's coming through. It's basically been foggy all day, so there's not a lot of atmosphere, and there's just this nice, almost like, I would say after storm glow, but it didn't storm. It's just kind of what happens when the sun finally decides to show itself here in Newfoundland. But my composition is really simple. I just have some of these weeds on the bottom here that are obviously blooming here and coming into summer. But more importantly is this bottom half of the frame just reminds me of Newfoundland, mostly because of the rocks mixed in with some of these bushes that are kind of green, kind of reddish. And then down there is two little yellow seats, little lawn chair type seats that really stick out in the frame. And then obviously it starts in the bottom right and comes all the way through. It's just, really simple. One of those pictures that just kind of represents what this place reminds me of. This place being Twillingate, or one of the towns in Newfoundland. Just really simple. I'm going to keep driving around and taking more shots like that because I absolutely love them. And I really specifically love this light right now, especially with buildings in the shot. Okay, so we found another simple but very picturesque Newfoundland scene here with this boat that's turned over, and right in the background is one of their storage, gosh, what are they called? I'm interrupting myself to let you know that Sophia actually reminded me that they're called root cellars, and they're pretty popular here in Newfoundland. Everything else is correct, that they do store vegetables and stuff like that. I just couldn't remember the name. They're root cellars. You can thank Sophia down in the comments below. But they are built into the hills, and I believe they used to store their crops in there and stuff like that. I don't necessarily know what they're used for anymore, but that is what they were used to before. Now, I say simple scene in the sense that there's not some big grand shot here, and this is definitely more of it's a kind of image you would see in a book, like a photo book of Newfoundland that is less landscape-centric and more trying to show you what life is like here. And this, to me, is the epitome of that, where I've got the grass, and I've got that storage thing in the back, and I've got the boat, and then in the background there's these giant cliffs and the water, and everything is just coming together. But from a photography standpoint, I'm trying to do a few extra things. I'm trying to take a simple scene and add some elements to it, in the sense that I need to decide how this boat is going to be layered with the storage unit. So if I step a little bit over here and I put the boat kind of underneath
and kind of squeezes both of my main points right into the center of the image. But something I'm finding that's really interesting, let me just hit record on my camera here so you can actually see what I'm talking about, is this composition that you're seeing on your screen right now. On the left part of the frame, we have that storage unit. On the right part of the frame, we have the boat. But what's really cool is I have this shadow of the storage unit that's coming from down into the boat. And I'm trying to find a sweet spot to where it's not crossing over, but it's almost pointing to the boat. And I'm trying to turn what is a simple scene into something even more photogenic, capture the essence of Newfoundland while also, you know, adding a bit of my own flavor to it. It's been nice just walking around, enjoying the sun, and finding little simple scenes like this. This is the kind of stuff I want to photograph more while I'm here, but I have to wait for this kind of light. There's something about this almost glowing light. It's almost like creates these, it's as if I have like a, what are they called? Gold filter, glow filter on the front of my camera. It just creates this nice little atmosphere. Absolutely love it. I bet this could be, if it turns out, this could be one of the ones that goes in the print folio. If you're wondering what my print folio is, it's gonna be 5 images printed on fine art paper like the one that I'm talking about here. They're gonna be about 8x10, 8x12. It's gonna come hand signed. They're all gonna come in a little box, a print folio box that you can throw on your shelf if you wanna store it, or you can hang or frame all of them, whichever ones speak to you the most. They're gonna come with a personalized Polaroid from this trip. Every Polaroid will probably be different. And I just wanna make it something special, something to commemorate this trip, being here in Newfoundland, and also commemorate you investing your time and energy, and honestly, your love and care to watching these videos. And it's just a great way to help support me on this journey and doing things like this. So all the details will be down below. It's gonna be about $150 for those 5 images. I'm hoping that I can make it 6 images if I reach a stretch goal of about 100 orders. Something along those lines is what I'm thinking. And I'm also gonna be offering a 10-image print folio. And all the details will be down below in that link. But for now, I'm gonna show you this image we just took. And I think this one's gonna be nice. All right, we've come back to the spot from a few days ago for sunset. Not that you know how many days it was, but I was up on those rocks and I talked about how as I got up there, I set up a shot and then the sun went behind some clouds and I basically missed it and I flew the drone and probably still got a shot or two. But we've come back to hopefully redeem myself and get the shots that I wanted, because the clouds in the sky are just absolutely gorgeous. I've got to come up with a different saying. They're beautiful. The problem is, as you can tell from right now, is the sun is somewhere up here in this like white hot ball. But as you can tell, right, it's gonna set along here. And there's a large swath of clouds right there. Not right here, just right here where the sun is going to set. So I'm gonna wait around to see if it starts to get blocked. If it does get blocked, well, then it'll just be a nice evening. If it doesn't get blocked, then I'm gonna get my little bud over there as quickly as possible and set up for the shots that I wanted from a few nights ago. You know, now that I'm realizing it, there's not a whole lot of clouds right here until right where the sun is. But that, honestly, that's just how the coast is. I've shot for months on the coast at this point. That's just the luck of the draw when it comes to landscape photography on the coast. All right, I'm gonna just sit around, soak up the sun. The birds are chirping. It's warm out. Just glad to be here. Glad to bring you along. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so for this evening shot, we're kind of looking for a slightly different composition than last time. So instead of shooting into the sun, like I did last time, I think my goal is to try to forego the sun and try to find something to shoot behind me with these clouds that are gonna catch some color, because I don't think we're gonna get a nice sun star or anything out there on the sun. But I do think we can get some really nice light on the foreground here and hopefully on the background of these clouds. I just gotta find a pleasing shot. I know there's one down here and that's where I'm walking right now. And I want to see if it's still viable in these conditions, slightly different than the last time I was here. Just got to get there. Okay, that means I got to walk.
I did in fact make it to the spot with plenty of time to spare this time around. I got there and set up my shot after testing compositions with the current foliage that created some interesting foreground elements to contrast with the middle ground rock formation with this large colored rock face. Now all I needed was to wait for the clouds to get lit up with some nice sunset light. While waiting, I sent the drone out to capture a hyperlapse that I had to cut short when everything started to change. The area went from dull and unlit to a beautiful bath of golden light, and all my plans went out the window.
Okay, well, I didn't think this shot was going to happen. I even set up a shot down there, the one that I was going to take that I talked about, where I'm like, all right, we're not going to shoot directly into the sun. We're going to get clouds and stuff behind. But this is what's happening in the direction of the sun, and none of the color is hitting the clouds behind you right now. And this sunset this has got to be one of the most beautiful sunsets I've seen here in Twillingate, with the sun actually coming through the clouds and creating so much of this beautiful, gorgeous red and orange tones on the clouds. And I kind of just frantically looked for a composition. It's really tough here because a lot of it is rock and there's not a lot of foreground subjects. And I actually found, let me show you, I found almost this dead bush here that kind of created this web of a line through the image right up to the sun. I'm not sure it's going to work. I was going to use some foliage down here, but I really, really liked this dead bush. The problem is it's so close to the ground that there's no separation from it and the ground. It's definitely something different, something I've never really taken the dead trees like this before. It would be much better if they were lifted off the ground and created some separation, but this is what I got to work with. I might take this shot and move, but I think it's going to work. There's enough dead brush on here mixed with these little bits of still living parts that actually make it look really good. All right, I'm gonna keep taking a couple shots while the light is good. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, that was sincerely some of the best light I have seen in all of Newfoundland in both trips. Absolutely spectacular. I still feel underprepared even though I wasn't. I think this is just a really tough area to shoot because, to give you an example, everything is just covered in this rocky, well, rock, for lack of a better term. And basically, I'm looking around for some of this green stuff here. And what's really cool is right behind this hill over here, there's actually these little blooming flowers, sprouts that are happening off in the distance right here. But none of those were getting hit by any light. So the problem, or the difficulty, is I set up my shot down there for our not shooting into the sun shot, and then nothing happened back here. I mean, this is what the clouds look like. And all the light, coincidentally, was in the direction of the sun, which is something that I do often shoot, but for this particular time, was trying to not shoot. But as I was flying the drone, the light started to happen over here, the sun started to come through the clouds, and I was like, well, everything's coming together for that kind of shot. So let's find something for the foreground. So all of this stuff down here is basically dead. And there's a few green spots over here, but none of it is a great foreground. And you might be asking, if you're not a photographer or you don't shoot very often, you're wondering, why the heck do I need a foreground? And if you're very interested, I made a whole video on it right here, and it increases the draw or the wow factor of basically any wide angle image. And that is, instead of just taking a shot right here with the sun and these rocks, which would still look beautiful as you saw through this camera, there's not enough interest in it. It's just a giant scene kind of shot. Whereas when I put something in the foreground, something for your eye to really catch on to, more than just the sun or the clouds, it basically adds a subject to the image rather than the subject just being a pretty sunset. And that's what I was trying to do right here, as you can tell with my camera setup and everything, and all this dead brush. It's actually a really cool pattern here. The only problem is there's a lot of chaos, and like I said, it's very close to the ground, so I'm not entirely sure it's gonna work. I think I took a pano, so like a shot, 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 and shot. If that comes together and I'm able to kind of paint light the correct way, where I darken a little bit of this section right here and kind of accentuate a lot of these roots, I can help guide the viewer in the correct direction towards the sun and maybe put something together. Regardless, if my photo came together or not. Just a spectacular, beautiful sunset. And I think that that's where this episode is going to end. I'm going to show you the image no matter what I came up with, regardless if it the chaos in the foreground doesn't work out, but it should give you an idea of the intention of the image. And I'm going to try to find a gosh darn shot here that in case something like this happens again, I know exactly what I want to shoot, because I had 3 ideas in mind and none of them came together from the last time that I was here. The brush that I shot last time was dead. This I just found and happened to line up with the sun. The sun was over. It doesn't matter. I'm blabbing. I think a lot of the times I feel right now as a photographer that I let myself down, that the conditions happened absolutely amazing in a spot that I know, in a spot that I have been to here at least 6 times. And I don't necessarily know if I put together an image that was worthy of the light that nature was willing to give me. But that is the problem or the struggle of being an artist sometimes, or a photographer. Anyways, I'm done talking. Sorry. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Next week's episode, who knows what's going to happen? I don't yet, but here's the image I just took. I hope you enjoy, and be sure to check out that print folio down below to help support me and grab something for yourself. Who knows? Maybe the shot will be good enough to put in it. Here's the shot.
Try